Welcome to the Pencil Bob channel. I hope you enjoy my stories. Please like and subscribe, and hit that notification icon so you never miss out. Now on with the stories.
We just bought a house in a neighborhood with an HOA. And we own a dog. Our dog is a black lab, German Shepherd mix named Bella. She's a lovable 55-pound bundle of joy. When we first talked to Robert, one of the owners of the HOA, we mentioned Bella and what type of dog she was. It's important to know that Bella is well behaved. She doesn't bark excessively, doesn't escape or run away, and she doesn't run up to people unprovoked. She listens to commands diligently. Robert assured us that as long as Bella didn't cause any problems, we would be okay. Today was one of those days that you never see coming. I received 2 phone calls saying that Bella was out and had bitten someone, and we needed to get rid of her immediately. The problem is, Bella was with me all day, and we weren't even home. We had only been home for about 10 minutes when a police officer, animal control, and Robert showed up at our door. They demanded that I hand Bella over to animal control. Shocked and confused, I showed them proof that we weren't home all day, making it impossible for Bella to have gotten out. Despite this evidence, I was slapped with a $1,400 fine and had to surrender Bella. Edit. I forgot to mention that the $1,400 fine was from the HOA for having a dog over 50 pounds. I was devastated. Bella is like family to us, and the thought of her being taken away over false accusations was unbearable. Update. I have shown the police proof, with a detailed timeline and video, that we were gone all day and that there was no way Bella could have gotten out or bitten anyone. After reviewing the evidence, they returned Bella to us. I also spoke to a lawyer, thanks to the suggestions from everyone who commented. In my initial anger and upset, I hadn't even considered legal action, but now I'm glad I did. Update 2. Just got done meeting with my lawyer. Here's the short version. We got the police report, and it turns out the person who claimed they were bitten by Bella was an old man who lives down the street. When the police went to his house, he refused to show them where he was supposedly bitten. We also have police body cam footage and the 911 call from Robert. My lawyer has compiled all this evidence along with proof that we were not home all day. We now have a court date set for June 21st. If all goes well, we will be going to court on June 21st. We are suing Robert and the HOA for the false allegations. My lawyer also mentioned the false police report in her notes for the judge. I'm taking Bella to the vet next week to get her weight verified and to obtain a bite analysis, which we will use in court as well. I will provide another update in June after court or if anything changes. Edit. Someone commented, and I realized I wrote the date down wrong. The court date is on Friday, June 21st, not the 22nd. Mini update. There was a warrant issued by the judge today to look for bite marks on the old man. They didn't find a single bite mark on him, so he is now included in our lawsuit as well. The days leading up to our court date were tense. The entire neighborhood seemed to be buzzing with rumors and gossip. Some neighbors came by to offer their support, recounting their own stories of Robert's overreach and the HOA's strictness. It was comforting to know that we weren't alone, but it didn't ease the anxiety of the upcoming court date. Bella seemed to sense our stress. Normally, she's a happy, tail-wagging dog, but during this time, she was unusually quiet and stayed close by our sides. We made sure to shower her with extra affection, trying to keep her routine as normal as possible despite the turmoil. The vet visit was straightforward. Bella's weight was confirmed to be 55 pounds, just as we had stated all along. The vet also conducted a bite analysis, which showed no signs of aggression or any reason to believe Bella had bitten anyone. This report was added to our growing pile of evidence. June 21st arrived, and we headed to court with our lawyer. The courtroom was intimidating, but we felt confident with the amount of evidence we had. Our lawyer presented the timeline of our whereabouts on the day in question, showing through video and receipts that we had been away from home. The police body cam footage showed Robert making the 911 call and the old man refusing to show any bite marks. The vet's report further supported our case. Robert and the old man looked uncomfortable as our lawyer laid out the facts. The judge seemed attentive and asked several clarifying questions. When it was Robert's turn to speak, he fumbled through his explanation, unable to provide any solid evidence to back his claims. The old man's testimony was equally shaky, especially when he couldn't explain why he had no bite marks if he had indeed been bitten. In the end, the judge ruled in our favor. The $1,400 fine was dismissed, and Robert and the old man were ordered to pay our legal fees. The judge also reprimanded Robert for the false police report and warned the HOA about the consequences of making unfounded accusations. Walking out of the courthouse, I felt a wave of relief wash over me. Bella was safe, and justice had been served. The neighbors who had supported us cheered when they heard the news, and we received several congratulatory messages. Life slowly returned to normal after that. Bella was back to her happy self, enjoying her daily walks and playtime. The neighborhood seemed to have a renewed sense of camaraderie, with many residents feeling empowered to stand up against the HOA's overreach. Our lawyer advised us to keep all the documentation and evidence in case of any future issues. We also decided to attend the next HOA meeting to address the situation publicly and ensure that no other residents would have to go through what we did. At the HOA meeting, we recounted our experience and urged for a fairer and more transparent process. Several other residents shared their own grievances, and it became clear that change was needed. The HOA board agreed to review their policies and promised to be more reasonable in their enforcement. As we settled back into our routine, I couldn't help but feel grateful for the support of our community and the resilience of our beloved Bella. This experience, though stressful and unfair, had brought us closer together as a family and a neighborhood. Bella continues to be a source of joy and comfort in our lives. Every time I see her wagging tail and bright eyes, I'm reminded of how important it is to stand up for what's right, not just for ourselves but for those who can't speak for themselves. And so, life goes on. We enjoy our new home, our wonderful dog, and the supportive community around us. The shadow of that unjust accusation has faded, replaced by a stronger sense of justice and unity. Bella remains the heart of our home, a constant reminder of the power of truth and the importance of standing up for those we love. A few years back, I went to the pound near me. My doctor recommended a dog because I'm an anxious control freak. I found a beautiful Mastiff mix. In big bold letters on his kennel sheet said, "Bite risk, don't handle." I went to the other side to see him again and he jumped on the fence. No growling, barking, no aggression. He licked my hand for a while. I went to ask if I could adopt him. I was told only 501(c)s could take him. When I called back a week later about his status, he'd been put down. It broke my heart. I was going to call him Maximus. He was going to be loved. Who did the dog supposedly bite? Why are the police taking Robert's word for it? How do they know it was your dog and not some stray dog in the area or a neighbor's dog? No way in hell I'd surrender my dog without some kind of proof. I'd tell the officers to come back with a court order. Then the next thing I'd be doing is consulting a lawyer and seeking evidence to back up my claim the dog was not home. When my partner and I bought our new house in 2020, we were over the moon. It was our dream home, and we couldn't wait to start making it our own. One of the first things we noticed was the side yard. It was fenced in, but it was just a long stretch of dirt that the previous owner had never used. We saw an opportunity there. We have a dog who needs space to run and do his business, and we thought this side yard would be perfect for a dog run. We hired a contractor to build the dog run. They put up a chain link fence to section off the area, and it turned out great. Our dog loved it, and it was nice having a designated place for him. We didn't think twice about asking for approval from our homeowners association. We honestly didn't even know we needed to. The dog run stood there for 3 years without any issues or complaints. Fast forward to this month. We decided to do some major landscaping work in our backyard. We had a retaining wall built, planted new plants, and laid down fresh sod. It was a big project, and we were really excited about how it was turning out. Again, we didn't think to get approval from the HOA. We were just improving our property and didn't think it would be a problem. A week into the backyard project, we found a note on our door from the HOA. The note said that all work had to be halted until the HOA approved the project. We were frustrated but decided to comply. We submitted all the necessary paperwork and waited for their response. Eventually, they approved the backyard project, but there was a catch. In the plans we submitted, the dog run was labeled on the diagram. The HOA asked for pictures of the dog run and wanted to know why it had been built without approval. We explained that we didn't know we needed approval and that it had been there for 3 years without any issues. They asked us to submit pictures of the dog run for approval, so we did. After a few days, we got the dreaded response. The dog run was denied approval. The reason? The covenants, conditions, and restrictions, CCRs, stated that no chain link fences were allowed on the property. We were shocked. The dog run is surrounded by a wood fence and is barely visible from the sidewalk. We couldn't understand why it was such a big deal. Now, we're in a bit of a bind. We don't want to take down the dog run because it's so convenient for us and our dog. We're trying to figure out if there's any way we can fight this decision. I've been looking for advice and trying to find similar cases to see if there's any way to appeal the HOA's decision. Edit. There's a special place in hell for the people on my HOA board. I'm beyond frustrated with how they've handled this whole situation. It feels like they're just looking for ways to make our lives difficult. To add more detail to the story, I'll start from the beginning and walk you through the whole process of building the dog run and the issues we faced with the HOA. When we moved into our new house, we were thrilled with the space and potential it had. The side yard, though just a long stretch of dirt, seemed like an ideal spot for our dog. We had always wanted a specific area for him to play and do his business without ruining the rest of the yard. So, we got to work planning and eventually hired a contractor to build a dog run. The contractor suggested a chain link fence because it was durable and affordable. We agreed, thinking it would be a quick and easy solution. The work was completed within a week, and our dog immediately took to his new space. He had plenty of room to run around, and we no longer had to worry about him digging up the rest of the yard. It was perfect. For 3 years, everything was fine. We enjoyed our home, and our dog enjoyed his run. We had no complaints from neighbors, and the HOA never said anything about it. We thought we were in the clear. Little did we know, that was all about to change. This year, we decided it was time to give the backyard a makeover. The retaining wall was crumbling, the plants were overgrown, and the lawn was patchy at best. We hired a landscaping company to come in and do the work. They started by tearing down the old wall and building a new one. They also brought in new plants and laid down fresh sod. It was a big project, but we were excited about the transformation. A week into the project, we found a note on our door from the HOA. It said that all work had to be stopped immediately until the HOA approved the project. We were caught off guard. We didn't realize we needed approval for landscaping work, but we decided to comply and submitted all the necessary paperwork to the HOA. While waiting for their response, we continued with the project. The landscapers were making great progress, and the yard was starting to look amazing. Then, we got a call from the HOA asking for more information about the dog run that was labeled on the plans we submitted. They wanted to know why it was built without approval and asked for pictures of the area. We explained that we didn't know we needed approval and that the dog run had been there for 3 years without any issues. They asked us to submit pictures for review, so we did. A few days later, we got the response we were dreading. The dog run was denied approval because the CCR stated that no chain link fences were allowed on the property. We were devastated. The dog run was a small, enclosed area surrounded by a wood fence. It was barely visible from the sidewalk, and we couldn't understand why it was such a big deal. We tried explaining this to the HOA, but they were adamant that the chain link fence had to come down. We started looking for ways to fight this decision. We researched the CCRs and found that while chain link fences were indeed prohibited, there were several other homes in the neighborhood with similar fences. It seemed unfair that we were being singled out. We gathered evidence and prepared to make our case to the HOA. We also talked to our neighbors to see if they had any similar issues with the HOA. Some of them were sympathetic and agreed that the dog run wasn't a problem. Others were indifferent, saying that they just followed the rules to avoid any trouble. We felt stuck between a rock and a hard place. At this point, we're still trying to figure out the best course of action. We don't want to take down the dog run because it's such a valuable space for our dog. But we also don't want to be in constant conflict with the HOA. We're hoping to find a compromise or at least get a better understanding of why the dog run is such a problem. I've been reaching out to friends and family for advice, and some have suggested hiring a lawyer who specializes in HOA disputes. Others have recommended attending the next HOA meeting to present our case in person. We're considering all options and trying to stay optimistic. The whole situation has been incredibly frustrating. We've put so much time and effort into making our home a comfortable place, and it feels like the HOA is just trying to make things difficult for us. I understand the need for rules and regulations, but this seems excessive. We're determined to find a solution that works for everyone, but it's been an uphill battle so far. In the meantime, we're trying to stay positive and focus on the progress we've made in the backyard. The new retaining wall looks fantastic, and the fresh sod has made a world of difference. Our dog is still enjoying his run, and we're doing our best to keep things as normal as possible while we navigate this issue with the HOA.
I would like to thank you for watching the video to the end. to encourage us to make more videos. Please like, subscribe, comment, as well as share. Check out this other video if you haven't already.